Now that we have a mail server running for our organisation, the first problem we're going to encounter is that of spam. By default, Exchange has no anti-spam methods in operation. To enable it, well, we have to use the command prompt. So if you go to your old programs, Microsoft Exchange Server 2010, you'll find the Exchange Management Shell. This will take a second or two to boot up, but we'll just have to wait for it. Now it's running. The first thing we need to do is type quite a lengthy command. It is set-transport server -identity single quote and the name of our server, which is just shown above. Of a single quote. Then we do -anti-spam agents enable space $true. And there we have it. No feedback because it's the command line. The next thing we need to do is restart the transport hub. There are two ways of doing this, one from the services command, or we can type it in at the prompt here. So we'll do restart -service single quote Microsoft Exchange transport followed by another single quote. That will then stop the service and restart it. So there we have the service restarted. We can now close the command line. And now what we need to do is go to a server configuration, hub transport, and we may have to refresh it at this stage. There we go, it has finally refreshed, and you'll notice there's now one says enable anti-spam updates, which we can click on. And I would suggest that we put it to automatic and let it download the spam signatures and the IP reputation. So we can enable that and it will automatically update itself from the Microsoft site. There we go. The second thing you need to do is go into organization configuration, hub transport again, and you'll now find an anti-spam tab. Inside this tab we can enable or disable the various rules that's available. For instance, if we take the content filtering, inside here we can put in words that we do not want to pass through the spam filter. So for instance, if we want to block messages that contain the words free software, we can add that to our list. It is possible to have members that do not receive this filter, and by putting their email address in here, they would be exempt from this rule. We can also block by IP address. There are two ways of doing this. We could have an allowed list of IP addresses, or we can have a blocked list of IP addresses. However, this would be quite tedious to keep up to date, so there are providers that will do this for us. And what we can do is we can put them in this IP block list providers area. If we open up that tool, inside the providers we can add a new one. One of these providers is known as Spam House, and on their web page, spamhouse.org/zen, you can read about how they do this. But all we need to do is copy the URL they provide and paste that into the lookup domain. What you will find is you can match any return code that comes back from this company, or only specific ones. And again, if you go back to their website, you'll find the various return codes described along with what they do here. But most companies just choose to block all the spam that Spamhaus provides. So we can OK that and apply it. That now means that the block list will be updated automatically and we don't have to worry about it. The final thing that we can filter on is by the sender. If you find a troublesome email address that is sending spam to you continuously, what we can do is we can block the sender. Again, all you need to do is add the email address in, and that will block the individual server. It is possible, however, to block a complete domain. For instance, if we want to block all email addresses from Poland, we can simply block the PL domain, including all the subdomains of it. So we say OK to that, and again apply. That would block all email addresses originating in that location.